first Sunday of Lent today, and we celebrate the Sunday of Orthodoxy, the restoration of icons. The restoration of icons took place in the year 842, and it concluded a very vicious and bloody conflict that had many socio-political elements in the Byzantine society and lasted for 110 years, from 731 to 842. Even the Seventh Ecumenical Council that decreed the Orthodox doctrine about the veneration of the icons on 787 did not cease the conflict. That took place only, as I said, in the year of the Lord 842 AD. On the occasion of the restoration of icons and the end of iconoclasm, the Holy Fathers of the Church decreed that on this day we will celebrate our Orthodox faith in total. Thus, around the 10th century, it was composed a collection, a small booklet, if you want, that is called Synodikon, and that Synodikon gives a brief presentation of the doctrines of the Church and all the heresies that the Church had to combat over the centuries. It was composed in the 10th century, and then it was some more things were added there around 12th and 13th century. And what we read today as the declaration of our faith is the conclusion of what we find in this Synodikon book. All this is great because we learn a great deal about our history. We know that we stand up on shoulders of giants, and these were the martyrs, the preachers, the humble monastics, the humble men and women, old people and infants even, that they all in their own way manifested their faith and witnessed their faith in Lord Jesus Christ. That should give us great courage and great encouragement to continue for the future. But often we make the mistake by thinking that the Orthodox Church, the Orthodox faith and the Orthodox Church is everything that happened in the past. And because we do not live in the past, we are not allowed to touch anything. We are not allowed to change anything. We are not allowed to go on a path that our ancestors have not gone. If we see and if we read closely the epistle reading today, as well as the gospel reading, there is a very, very strong message in both readings. In the first reading in the Apostles, the letter to Hebrews, it is said what many things were accomplished through faith, starting from Abraham and going all the way down to the martyrs. And it concludes that all these people, they did not move on to seek perfection, waiting for us, leaving something behind, so that they will not enjoy the celestial joy without us. So, in other words, if we break that down to what it really means, there is something more to be done from the saints. Now, going into the gospel reading today, we see the first encounter of Christ with two of his disciples, Philip and Nathanael. Nathanael responded right away when he was called by the Lord, "Follow me," and he followed him wholeheartedly. He went to his friend Philip, and he went to his friend Nathanael and said, "Whom Moses has written about, we have found. This is the Messiah." And when Nathanael went to see him, with a little reluctance, is it possible something good to come out from Nazareth? I'm sure today we have places like that we can say, is it possible something good to come from this place? When he went there, and Christ told him that he had seen him before sitting under a tree, he was impressed and said, "You're the King of Israel. You're the Messiah." And the response was, "You will see greater things. You will see greater things." Reaching Christ and encountering Christ and uniting ourselves with Christ is something that we should understand it progressively and dynamically. Because God is infinite, because His grace is infinite, our way is also infinite. We do not reach a point that we say, we got all the grace we want, we're good now, we don't need any more. We move on and on from glory to glory. And this is what the saints expect from us. This is why they left one part for us to do. This is what Christ expected from His apostles and is also expecting from us. Having said this, coming to today's reality, we can go back to our rich Orthodox legacy and see what our ancestors did and how they dealt with. The Holy Fathers in the 4th century, they lived in a new reality that nothing that during the time of the New Testament had been written and advised in their pastoral ministry. There were so many things that did not apply to their era. So they had to cut new roads, to go in new routes that the apostles had not gone before. But they did not do completely arbitrary initiatives. They were walking on the footsteps of the apostles. But they did realize that this road is progressive and it goes on. So we have to take it from where the apostles left it, from where their fathers left it, and keep going on and on. Instead, often, we choose to be, forgive me for the term, cowards. We choose to be cowards and say, this is something new. This is not Orthodox. The Orthodox Church never had something like that. We go to the fathers. And if something happens today that has never happened before, let's go back. Do we have a precedence of that in the 4th century, in the 5th century, in the 1st millennium? No. If not, we're going to condemn it altogether. But this is not the way of the fathers. This is not the way of the apostles. St. Gregory the theologian said, "Theologin esti to ais hinovatin." To theologize is to always step on a stretched rope, like an acrobat. But you have to dare do this. If you don't dare do this, then you can sit back and you can say, I'm too coward of dealing with this matter. But you cannot on no account say, I'm an Orthodox Christian and I'm sticking to the tradition and I'm not going anywhere from there. Because this was not Orthodox tradition. And by saying that, we always remember that we step on the footsteps of our Orthodox ancestors, prophets, apostles, fathers, martyrs. We cut new roads, but we do not make our own route. We keep the straight path, the Orthodox way. And may all the pillars of our faith intercede to God for us, and may they strengthen and enhance us as we will be striving to do so. Χρόνια πολλά.